Hey, it's me, Big P, and I'm here to show you guys the Magic Find Frostblade Raider that I ended up playing for about the last month of Legion League. I wasn't really going to do a video on this because it's not that great a build. It was pretty much designed for speed clearing maps, something I could just kind of mindlessly play and grind out while I was doing Legion League. But Raider is actually getting buffed, and I feel like, I have experience with exactly how it was before, and the build was surprisingly pretty strong, even with very, low to the ground, very geared for speed and magic find. So I figure I'll go over that and just kind of show you what's possible with Raider. However, I do want to say right here in the beginning of the video that there's two major caveats to the way that I've done this build right now. It's a speed build. It's not really for bossing. That's number one. So there's a lot of improvements. Pretty much every slot here can be improved on in terms of gear if you want to go, more for later maps. Some people might like to do that, as a league starter, kind of invest more into it after doing some kind of cheap Magic Find stuff. But another thing to consider, number two, is that Magic Find is really good for Legion. It might not be that good for Blight. We're not sure how monsters dropping works exactly. It might only be like chest rewards in Blight, and those aren't affected by item quantity. And for a build that has sacrificed so much to get 61% quantity, you can definitely adjust the build. And I'll go over some of the more juicy bits, that aren't specifically for quantity, but I kind of liked and sort of wanted to try out myself. But first, let's just do a map real quick, just so you can kind of gauge the speed of it. I'm gonna tell you right now. Again, this is not gear. Look at that. You see 30 there and 30 there? That's not supposed to happen. We're using Wise Oak and Taste of Hate, but we're still 10 under lightning reds. So, you kind of want to hit them first. Let's show you. One thing to note is onslaught effects. I was kind of stacking this. Well, I guess I'll go into the gear after. This map's going to be over pretty quickly. And you kind of just walk up, tap on a mob, and between the chain and the projectile speed and everything else, I haven't done Frostblades in a while. There you go. Well, I don't think I ever really did Frostblades. As a skill, it always seemed more geared for clearing. Rather than being exactly sort of single target. But with all the melee buffs that happen this league, I was kind of interested to see how it would fare. And I also want to try a non-bow magic find build for the first time. Here's the boss. Single target damage isn't great. Get our infused channeling up, and let's see. Play the video game, go behind the boss. It's not too bad. I mean, considering an Exalted Orb out of a tier 7 map. We do plateau out around yellow maps. Can't really go much further beyond that. The build is get one shuttle out. We're under 3k life. Let's go into exactly what we've done here in terms of quantity first, because that's really the focus of the build. So let's start from the top down. 10% quantity on the Spine-Fused Talisman. This was a pretty good one. Dex is relevant for us because we're kind of Dex stacking, not really, but nice life roll, and we wanted all the life we can get. Thief's Torment I don't usually like on quantity builds, but the life and mana gained for enemies hit by attack is amazing for Frostblades, since it kind of, they're almost immediately hitting everything, so your life can really shoot back up. Sedemas is Sedemas. They nerfed it. 10% is the max you can get in League. I got a decent enchant on this and a decent quantity roll. It's Goldworm. These are pretty standard pieces for Magic Find build. I was able to corrupt. I still got an incubator on this one. Not bad. I was able to corrupt a hatred effect. We are using hatred, so it's a little more damage where we need it. The chest piece is kind of, well, I guess we should go over the claws too. Claws are these are pretty standard for a lot of Frostblade builds you've seen. Chaining, I'm actually not sure if how the chain, and I mean it shoots a bunch of projectiles everywhere, and it kind of, using Ancestral Call, I don't know, Frostblades is very specific, kind of weird. I don't understand exactly how it's working, but enabling things like multi-strike and ancestral call, it just makes it happen. Even with these, like, these are what, 1C after the first week of the league, maybe a couple more. Claws might get a bit more. I don't think so, though. Like, claws should be, these are always pretty cheap. And the chess piece is going to be pretty cheap, too. I think this is kind of a sleeper hit. They added increased onslaught effect on this. It does stack diminishingly. It's not like amazing, but for a build that is going to have onslaught all the time anyway and is already speccing into onslaught effect, it's pretty cool to have. I divined this into 95. I'd probably try and get 90 plus if you really want to do it. You'll really feel it, you know, if you're on a non-raider build, because then you'll have, you know, you can take the generation for granted. You know, this build's gonna have onslaught all the way anyway. I don't know. I liked it, and I think you can pick one up early in a league and kind of link it if you ever like doing attack-based builds. It's gonna be nice for you. You know, some of it doesn't matter for us. Like physical attack damage leaches his life. We only do cold damage. We're fully converting to cold on the tree. Endurance charges. If you like those, you might not want to go for this chest, but I think Immortal Call is probably the worst of the three, considering like Molten Shell and Steel Skin now, since the nerf. I mean, it's pretty good, but I don't know. It takes a little bit more work than it used to, and I'm pretty stupid, so, yeah, there's a lot of options. You can do a Tabula if you really want the 6 link. You could always go Queen of the Forest and go more movement speed based. I think overall, I prefer the bow builds now, if not just because Mirage Archer is just like, there's no equivalent to Mirage Archer for melee. You know, like I had to click on every single mob and pack in that map, whereas in Mirage Art and like, you know, I'm whirling blading between them, and you know, you kind of have to actively play a bit more than like the super lazy man Mirage Archer. But anyway, Frost Blades, ally damage with attacks. Ice Bite, because we have, I think, 7 Frenzy Charges was the max. Multi-strike, Frostblades is one of the few skills that like felt okay with multi-strike since it's been reworked. Pretty straightforward. I don't know if I'm actually canceling it, but everything dies on the first, and definitely by the second tap anyway. Hypothermia and Ancestral Call. So multi-strike and Ancestral Call with Frostblades just kind of, it all coalesces into a big shotgun. I don't know if it's actually shotgunning. I don't want to say shotgun because that's like a thing in PoE, but anyway. Sorry. Flasks are pretty straightforward. This, we really like need to get it so that cold is penetrating, but like we have like the lower, you know, so that's kind of bad. Actually, with Taste of Hate Up, does it do it? Oh no, that's what it was. Okay, so with Taste of Hate Up, it penetrates for the cold, so that's not bad. Totally knew exactly what I was doing there. You know, that's totally not just a coincidence. You know, you do a diamond because we are crit, and this is actually a shitty one. I don't know why I'm using this one. This isn't even quality. This is great builds. Aren't you glad you watched this build guide? But yeah, the Raider is getting buffed. I had to get carried for Uberlab for Avatar of the Slaughter because I really wanted that +1 to max frenzy charges. But they're moving that to here, and they're also changing this nodes to even more onslaught effect instead of onslaught duration, which is pretty much worthless. I would go here, just for the quick onslaught, freeze up a flask slot, and you know, you don't have to use this chest really on Raider. Then I would go for and like the first 3 labs are pretty decent. The build isn't super strong unless you gear properly for it. You know, I don't really know what to say. I was a little bit impressed by Frostblades. I think if I used 2 Fight for Survivals here, I was only using 1 to really kind of penetrate more cold resistance. It might have been okay. For single target, I was kind of doing Blade Flurry, Cold Pen, Infused Channeling, Melee Phys. At a certain point with your build, you can probably swap out your clear skill into the 4 socket and 4 link, and then move the your like Blade Flurry, whatever your preferred single target. Maybe Glacial Hammer is good with whatchamacallit, like a cold spec build like you have here. You know, move that into your 6 link, but either way, the build isn't really that amazing. I just thought I would kind of give my thoughts on it as we move into Blight League, where Raider is getting a bit of a buff, so it's going to be a bit stronger, and this was pretty strong. I don't know. really if it's going to be that great for Blight, so it's kind of, this is kind of want to awkwardly end the video on that note. But I will make a new video, like pretty much directly after this. I'll be uploading what my actual League starter is going to be. But either way, I hope if you have any questions about I guess let me go over, people always ask about the gem links, and I never like actually go over them because I take them for granted. So we got Whirling Blades, Fortify, and faster attacks. That's why you go zoom zoom and you take less damage. Cast when damage taken, Molten Shell, Ice Golem. Ice Golem helps with maxing out accuracy and crit chance. Molten Shell is just broken. You got a nice chunk of armor with this. Check this out. For a character that's as like kind of squishy as this one, 38 deaths. I probably should have double this, but Molten Shell is just so damn strong. Like, throw this into any build that has any amount of armor, even if you just have like a Granite Flask. I've been even doing it on builds. Is it Granite or the other one? Whichever one provides flat armor. Herald of Ice, Precision. Maybe using that? Yeah. So I kept it at 6. You can maybe go up. Precision's nice to get like Watcher's Eye and stuff on that to enable some stuff. Assassin's Mark Curse on hit, Herald of Ice to generate power charges. We generate and lose frenzy endurance charges from Daresso's Defiance. And we're fucking Raiders, so we have like a billion frenzy charges for free all the time. What else did I mean, that's basically it, right? Blood Rage, Hatred. So Whirling Blades can't go over gaps, but you can't Leap Slam. But Flame Dash is usable. I think you saw it a couple times when I would get caught in the map. Yeah, that's basically it. If you have any questions about this build, I can go over if you want to chat about what you think Raider might do well, because there's a lot of, there's stuff like Hope Shredder and stuff that got buffed that maybe that's kind of cool to do now. I remember doing a Hope Shredder build a long time ago, and might want to give that a try as a Raider maybe this league if I go for it, but who knows. Anyway, what I am going to start with is some sort of Volatile Dead, Incinerate Necro, I think. And that's going to be in the next video, which is coming up like right now. So thank you for watching. Stay tuned. Going to be hopefully streaming as much as I can this next league. Pretty excited for it. Cautiously. I did like Legion, but I thought it was a little simple. Blight is kind of a, it's teetering towards that sort of maybe overbearing and distracting sort of league, but I think it's going to be okay. I think it is going to be interesting, seeing this was the last thing I did for Legion when I kind of fully understood what sort of build would really kind of push the league to its limits. And so I kind of am excited to see Blight, which might be focused in a different sort of way, and to see what kind of builds that pushes. Apparently mines, I guess, or something, But anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon in the next one. And stay sane, Exiles. Is that cool? Is that like cool thing to say to PoE players?